our belts. Karibu Mzalendo.
On the issue of Safaricom increasing its charges, I think there's been. I'll only talk about things that I've heard from our legislators and things that have been there in the past, and this is something that that has been a problem between Safaricom and other players in the telecommunication industry. M-Pesa at one point needed to have been split from Safaricom. So Safaricom, the call services should be is regulated by CCK. Then M-Pesa, since M-Pesa operates like a bank, that is why it is now being regulated by CBK. That is the biggest contention here. That is why you are seeing pesa yako sijui imefanya nini. I think Airtel and the rest have moved towards that direction. So for fair play, M-Pesa ought to have been regulated by CBK because it is transacting money and not M-Pesa regulating itself. So that charges were going to come, whether you like them or not. It is something that is in parliament and your legislators debated about it. It is not an Ruto bill. It is something that has been teething from time immemorial. So that has been there. It's an issue that has been in parliament.
Mzalendo.
So let me just finish.
No, I'm not. That one I agree with you. The one that you are saying about in the legislation, that one was wrong. But like, I'm just reminding you, if at all you are home during this December holiday, by 1st of January 2023, the banks gave notification to their customers, that you will realize increase on your M-Pesa transaction. I don't know whether you're aware of that. I'm not talking about the one for legislation. For regulation, that is there. It's something that is there.
Brother Benson, I am not aware. I was not home over Christmas, so I am not aware of the warnings from the local banks. I was abroad, so maybe that's above my pay grade. So you could just tell me more about it, just enlighten us, and why the banks were coming up with these laws. Is it something that is within the banking laws, or it is just something that is being imposed by the Ruto government?
Yeah, it's something from the government.
It's something from the government.
Yes.
So it is something that they sat down and thought that this is the best thing that they can do
the taxes on the
to regulate the industry.
It's not regulating. I think it was just like a directive on the M-Pesa increment on the rates on the services. The services that they are charging was to go up, especially when you're transacting with the bank.
So it is M-Pesa. It's the bank increasing the charges, or it's M-Pesa increasing the charges?
M-Pesa
increasing the charges.
Yes.
All right. I think I need to do more. Just like I told you.
If you have your number, I can give you a notification from National Bank.
Oh, National Bank. That is a government bank.
I can give you that.
I'm not refuting it. I'm not refuting, my brother. I'm just telling you that's above my pay grade because it is new. I'm just hearing it from you now. I'm only talking about the things that I've had between Safaricom and the Parliament. So that one is something was going to happen because Airtel, I think they have already changed their way of operation. So Domi, I I sent you something there. I was hoping that you'll react to it, but you have technically ignored it on GMO. I still want you to do research on GMO, get the facts each and every time you come here. People say, oh, GMO ni mbaya, sijui GMO ni mbaya. I want you to do a para research and then come up with a scientific proof that hii kitu inadhuru afya. And I sent you a video where people, legislators, including your leader, was supporting GMO then. Then now, since it's being introduced by another person, is saying that GMO is bad. But then it was good. It was good, and he approved it. And you came here saying that it was they were experimenting. There was no experiment. He approved it in Parliament and recommended it. So each and every time when people come here, all we say is that have your facts. If you don't have facts, I'll give you the facts that are there. So sometimes ni hivyo tu ndio tunajaribu kusaidiana. There are some good things coming from the government. There are some things that Ruto is not getting right, but by and large, it is too early to judge the government. Within 4 months, you already want the GDP to grow. I don't know by how much. This government is young. Give it some time, and I'm sure the programs that have been put in place. You talked about kazi kwa vijana in your rural village. Kazi kwa vijana in your rural village. I can tell you without even doubting that even when Uhuru left, in your local county assembly, nobody was getting that money for kazi kwa vijana. It was going into somebody's pocket. Today, there are roads being built going to Malaba. Hiyo ni vijana watapata kazi. I told you that there's an electrical bus company that has started manufacturing electrical vehicles, buses in Nairobi. Youths will get modern jobs. We must rethink. We can't do things the way we have been doing year in, year out. Ati unaambia watu waende wachimbe mtaro na kuna mamashini za kuchimba mtaro siku hizi. Let the youths get skills na waende wapate kazi mzuri za kufanya.
Asante, I know Dom, you want to say something about the GDP. The GDP has dropped Mzalendo for the last 3 months. I look for that clip by Mutahinguni, according to IMF. So why it has dropped? We don't even want to grow. We want him to keep us where Uhuru left us. We are not even asking him Ruto to do miracles. We want him to keep us where Uhuru. Kwanza afikue vile Uhuru alikuwa, alafu aanze kusema I'm improving on this. Si kuturudisha nyuma that we are paying more on food, more on everything. No, you can't tell us to take that. So we are not asking Ruto to do any miracles, to build houses for us or make homes for us. We want him to sustain us the way Uhuru sustained us. Then from there, he can say, okay, me and Uhuru, we were at this point. Now we want to do better. Sasa utusiambia we are being impatient. No. We don't want him to destroy what Uhuru was saying. Even this thing of kazi kwa vijana. You don't make people jobless and then you start telling us that you are going to create jobs, which you have not created yet. You create the jobs first and then you tell us, wale vijana wenyu wanalima mitaro. Nimewatoa kwa mitaro, siku hizi wanafanya kazi hapa. We have not seen that. We just see public declarations on the streets that hii kazi kwa vijana, tunaanza nyumba, we are doing. Mimi, mama yangu used to say, I don't know, just that you people, you are not Kikuyus. Eh? She used to say that the clan of I will do. She doesn't belong to that clan of I will do. I will do. I will do. She used to tell me, no, my daughter, say I have done. Not I will do. Sasa hii serikali ni I will do. Mzalendo, we agree with you that these youngsters can do better things. But before he takes that income from them. Let him create the income generating activities and projects, and then let him tell us that we had 10,000 youths in Nairobi. They were working kazi kwa vijana. Hivi sasa wako hapa. We want data. We want statistics. We want to see those people working. Tutaki hadithi ndefu, promises. So still your story ya kazi kwa vijana, I disagree with you totally and totally. Maneno ya GMO Mzalendo, if you are in the US, you go to Walmart, things are labeled. They are clearly labeled organic products. Why do they label them? Yes, they have accepted the technology, but these people are very clear. So that when Julia wants to buy food, she buys at her own, she makes a decision, a sober decision, kwamba sitaki organic leo nataka hii. So I have no one to blame or to, even when I go to buy eggs, you know, there are those that are cage free and all that. I can look and see and decide, and they are well labeled. So I have no one to blame. If I have consequences, it is me who has decided. Lakini ni Kenya gani hii mahindi ilitolewa Mozambique ikaingizwa, and then suddenly we had two big ships with a lot of corn at the port. Now somebody talked, I think it's ni Mama Kibambele Amadom, somebody said here that Uhuru destroyed some ships that had fake cars and substandard cars. And even we know kuna biashara zilikuanga hapa River Road na I think Koinange streets of substandard products that Uhuru got rid of. And that is why the likes of Kuria and others were so mad with Uhuru. You see? And then I think some time back, Uhuru destroyed some ship that had drugs. Now, these two ships that came with this corn from Mozambique, nobody told us kama ilikuwa GMU. Nobody told us the fate of those two ships. I don't know whether there were two ships or how many ships or how many containers there were. Now, this is the kind of a government we are seeing. Now, Mzalendo, you know clearly that Kenya, even the Bureau of Standards is not strict. Kenya Bureau of Standards is not strict. And now you want us to expose our dear Kenyans. First and foremost, they are desperate and they are hungry. Wakipelekwa unga ya 50 na ni ya GMO hata kama iko na chemicals, they'll buy because they are needy. Kenya is not like America. Americans protect their own people. So you buy things at your own, you decide what to buy because everything is clearly indicated. Kenya will not do that. We know the kind of people we are dealing with. So another thing, keep pinning dummy down about GMO, even if you have no scientific data about GMO. So if dummy, come on, dummy, and atawe hauna. You don't, Mzalendo, don't tell us here. And there are lots of, no, Mzalendo, that is your own view. So there's a lot of debate. There's a big debate about GMO. So you cannot claim here to put down dummy ati hana scientific data. Pia wewe huna scientific data about the benefits of GMO. You don't have. So all of us have this information here and there. We are trying to add 1 + 1. So me as Julia, if I'm afraid of that and I hear come up, there are chances of maybe catching cancer or something. If I have an alternative, I'm going to avoid it. But me, I can say maybe I'm lucky, I can avoid it. I am not boasting about that. I just thank God for placing me in a position where I can avoid. But can Kenyans do that? No. So the government of Kenya must protect Kenyans. And what is the government doing? Taking advantage of their vulnerability. That is devilish. I want to say that. In fact, that is very devilish. This government should protect Kenyans. See, every other thing that comes from east, west. Why are we buying food from Uganda and Tanzania and wherever when we can produce that food? What is wrong with this government? These things have only happened for the last 3 months. You people, I used to think Uhuru is a poor manager. But after Ruto taking over, now I think Uhuru is my hero. I'm telling you. I'm beginning to conclude that Uhuru is my hero and that he did a good job. I'm beginning to think that. And I think, Mzalendo, you not tell us about GMO again. You too, you have no scientific data here. And you have no scientific authority to tell us anything good about GMO. Just as much as Domi is entitled with his reservations about GMO. You tutetea GMO wako, lakini usianzie hapa kuambia Domi ati hana data. He knows what he knows, just like you who claims you know what you know. So I want to end that story of GMO, because none of us here has any scientific data to claim that I know 1, 2, 3, I have tested. Haujaenda kwa lab, hauna lab yako Mzalendo ukatest. Na kama publish it, let us see it published. The way we read the
So
channel.
in the supermarket, Walmart.
Yes, and I see the stuff indicated what is organic, what is not organic.
Kabla ifike kwa supermarket, Walmart. Do you think American can sell poison to its people?
Okay, we are not saying GMO.
That is just scientific enough.
No, we are not saying GMO is poison. We are saying there are negative effects about it. So we are saying that there is a lot of negativity with GMO. That's what we are saying. And if the Americans have their own reservations, even as we should agree with them that if they have their own reservations, they have good reasonable reasons for that. So Mzalendo, what I want to desist from is coming here to tell Domi hana scientific data pia wewe hauna. So you and Domi, you are the same platform. Domi has reservations. Wewe kama unataka kula GMO, kula as much as you want. That is your choice. Domi, don't eat GMO, and tell your people not to eat, because you are taking good care of them. And fellow Kenyans, if your family can avoid GMO, tell them to avoid, because if they are in Kenya, I don't know what hospitals they are going to go. So that is what I want to close that chapter on GMO. And I think we were talking about, Brother Benson, there's something you said about Kibaki. Now, Kibaki created the structures for the banking sector. Now, if you want people to access money, you create structures. So what he did, we worked with the central bank. Central bank, there's a way central bank regulates how much money we have in the economy, how much money is circulating in the economy. Now, central bank uses several methods like open market operations that are like controlling the interest rates and maybe demanding that the banks increase their cash ratio or their deposits with central bank. So they play around with that. So that is what Kibaki did. That is how the interest came down. So when the interest came down, the likes of Brother Benson, Julia Domi, Wamama, Mzalendo, we could now walk even into Standard Chartered Bank and ask for a loan. Then Kibaki also created some structures for the SACCOs. So, we had the SACCOs that were like, we had Mwalimu SACCO, I think we had Health SACCO, I think we had Ufundi SACCO, we had lots of SACCOs by the civil service and other companies. So the SACCOs were able to borrow money from Cooperative Bank on behalf of their members. So the Cooperative Bank was lending the SACCOs money at a lower interest rate, less than 10% per annum, so that the members of the SACCO could borrow money at about 12% per annum. That was translating to 1% per month. So that is what Kibaki did. He didn't go to, hakuenda kwa serikali akatoa pesa, akaletea wananchi. Those things don't work. Those things, giving people money. I talked about this before the election. When people here, like Mzalendo and the others, were telling us that Kenya kwanza inakuja kuletea watu pesa mifukoni. I said, this is high class nonsense. You cannot give, even if you give me 50,000 Domi, I have my needs. I need to pay school fees for my children. I need to feed my family. Sasa unaniletea 50k nifanye nini? Nitalipa fee ya form 1 kama niko na form 1, kama kulikuwa na njaa, nitanunua unga ya hiyo mwezi, and within 1 month I can assure you I won't have the 50,000. So Kibaki knew this. You don't give people money. First and foremost, I think common sense tells us when we have too much money chasing very few goods in the economy, that is a recipe for inflation. And you people watch the latest news, the inflation in Kenya is skyrocketing. Now, so saying ati unaletea watu pesa mikononi ati ukitumia hustler fund, that is high class nonsense. You create structures and a good environment for businessmen and businesswomen. Create good structures for the banking. Stop increasing the transactions for the banks. Reduce the transaction costs. Now, lower the interest rates. Facilitate people to be in circles where they can access loans without necessarily providing title deeds and all that. Then create an environment where people don't struggle to get licensing for businesses. Kama unataka watu wafanye biashara kwa open market sokos, create construct those markets for them, create structures for them, have good roads that access our markets and our sources of our goods. And now you'll see the economy coming up. See kuropokwa mdomo waletea pesa. Ati pesa mkono. That is nonsense from Kenya Kwanza. In fact, that's a money laundering scheme. How do you give me 500 to do what, Mzalendo? To do what with 500? And somebody even borrowed 2,000. Let me afford 2,000 for what? I mean, tuachange hii mchezo. So this Kenya Kwanza government, either they are semi-literate or they didn't want to learn from previous governments, or they have a challenge with their thinking abilities, or they are crooks and they are simply using the government for their money laundering activities. You see, or both. That is semi-literate, challenges with thinking and reasoning, poor structures and policies, and crooks who want to loot as much as they can from our poor government coffers. That is my take. So, Brother Benson, hawana mpango. Hakuna mpango hapa. Nakwambia ukweli. Hakuna mpango, hakuna. These are money laundering. I don't know what you people think. Wamama kibao, umemaza sana. Karibu.
Nimenyamaza. Nilikuwa ninanyamaza.